Hello again, Struckweb. Today I'm bringing you a build for the Forged class, which is implementing the two newly released skills for the class, which are Fracking Strike and Sonic Pose. I decided to combine those skills with Vent Vortex Bomb to be able to vent quick, do some damage, and heal when stunning targets. This goes well with the gear that gives you some chance to stun, and you also can stun with Sonic Pose, so there's a nice synergy around there. I also have been trying to get a good Vent Vortex Bomb build for quite some time, so this addition to the skill set of the Forged was pretty nice and very welcomed by me, and I finally was able to make this build happen. I'm going to quickly show you some of the skill choices and the alternatives you can do, how the skill can be set up, then show you some gear, and in the end finish off with a bit of info about suggested pet skills and some gameplay demo of how the build is played. When it comes to the skills I've decided to pick for this build, the more obvious ones would be Rapid Strike for extra brawl damage to increase the damage from both Fracking Strike and Vent Vortex Bomb. Then this could give us great chance again for those two skills, which would be sources of damage for us. And also Ramming Robot would be benefiting from the damage from Brawl and the crit chance from Servo-Driven Uppercut. So Servo-Driven Uppercut we are not using as a main skill, but feel free to use it if you want, but we're just getting it for the synergy. Ramming Robot is our movement and escape skill, and it also gives some nice damage reduction in melee combat. Now, there are a few other options how you could go about with spending the rest of the points. For starters, first we need to get enough points into Sonic Pose. If you want more damage for Vortex Bomb, spend points here. If you don't want more damage for Vortex Bombs, don't spend too many points here and maybe put the points into Poison Dart. I strongly suggest not going for Shotgonne Blast, although Shotgonne Blast synergizes well with the build, except with the heat dissipation. The heat dissipation for Shotgonne Blast kind of hurts the build and makes it so that we need to do more fracking strikes before the heat is filled for a maxed out Vortex Bomb. Some things where you can spend the points would be Cyclone Mode for extra movement speed. It's always nice to have extra movement speed, or Poison Dart. Decide how you want to spend the points. You do need some points into maybe Cold Launch or Shotgonne Blast in order to unlock Sonic Pulse or Poison Dart. If you don't want to spend points into Shotgonne Blast, maybe put some into Cold Launch, and if you don't want Poison Dart, keep pumping them. But if you want Poison Dart, put as much as you need to unlock Poison Dart, and stop and put into Poison Dart. But Sonic Pulse is a must-have, I think, for the build. First of all, it gives us extra skill cooldown for Poison Dart if you're using it. That's a pretty nice combo. And then it makes the enemies do extra damage, take extra damage, and then it also gives us 15% chance to stun the enemies, which synergizes well with this chance to heal when hitting stunned enemy. I've never seen this actually healing me. I'm not sure whether it really works, but hopefully it does work. So the combo would be just using Fracking Strike until the heat is full, then using Vent Vortex Bomb, and in the meantime you can spam Poison Dart and Ramming Robot to move around, and of course for tough enemies or whenever it's ready, use Sonic Pulse to make sure the enemies take more damage. And when it comes to the relic weapon skills you're using, I'd advise not using one. I normally go like this, with attack or with rapid strike here, so pick whatever you want, but if you have a relic weapon that uses an active skill like Venomous Maw, or like the Blade Smash, I forgot the Sword Smash skill, or Spinning Blade, you can use it here, or you can use it here and not use Poison Dart, whatever you want. But the main thing is the skill point allocation, and for the relic weapon you can just go for anyone you want. When it comes to gear, I personally don't have any preference whether you're using fire or poison or bleeding. So Whatever gear you've got, use it. If you've got a good setup for bleeding, use it, combine it with a bleeding relic and that would work fine. If you got a fire one, combine it with the flaming destroyer. If you got a poison gear, combine it with the bane. Just pick whatever you need. Since we have a lot of crit chance on melee attacks, and this is a mostly melee bro build, you would want to stack some crit damage. Maybe a bit of crit chance from some sources, but a lot of crit damage. And most importantly, you need some good cooldown reduction from Vent Vortex Bomb. You don't need 100% cooldown reduction, but maybe 60-70% would be fine. Basically, you need to be able to use Vent Vortex Bomb after 2 fracking strikes after recasting it. So something like this is fine. 1, 2, and I can use it. This is fine. And currently, as you can see, I've got 88.6 cooldown reduction for Vent Vortex Bomb. If you want to be maxing out the damage, maybe going for 70% cooldown would be fine. So you can use 4 of those, maybe even 60% would be fine before using Vortex Bomb. But you want Vortex Bomb to be kind of no more than 2-second cooldown. So stack Vent Vortex Bomb. You can get Vent Vortex Bomb cooldown on the shoulders, on the gloves, on the helmet, on the hatch. So, and also even I've seen that dropping on things like offhands like this. So there's many sources of it. You can in theory get it to like 120%, so over 100%, but you really don't need that much. It's an overkill. So find your balance. Find enough Vent Vortex Bomb stats to go with the build. You don't want heat dissipation, so I would suggest going for a shield instead of offhand. But an offhand with stun chance might be nice synergy, because you want to be stunning so that this healing is proccing when you're hitting stunned enemies. So if you can get stun on a shield, that's gonna be nice. If you can't get stun on a shield, you might try and go for something like this with just one steam dissipation bonus. You don't want things like this that have a secondary affix for steam dissipation. So try to find something like that. I haven't seen skill modifiers for Sonic Pulse and for Fracking Strike. I think those affixes are not in the game yet, so you would have to decide what you want to use there. When it comes to crit chance, crit damage, I'm again gonna say it, try to get as much crit chance and crit damage as you can, but keep in mind you have 20% crit chance that's not showing up here, which is applying to all of the attacks from this skill tree, which comes from Servo-Driven Uppercut. So now I have 30, but it's actually 50 when I'm using those melee skills, so only my poison dart per se would not be benefiting from this extra 20%. So I think 30 is fine if you count that other 20, but if you want to go for more, go for more. I think if you can get your crit damage to around 300%, you would be very happy with the results. Also, gear like this can give you extra crit chance against burning targets, and that's not a bad thing if you want to be stacking even further. But I would suggest going for something that gives you crit chance, crit damage for the weapon. I do have a good stinging sword. I'm not sure whether the stinging sword always drops with crit chance, crit damage, but mine has chance to poison, crit chance, crit damage, and I use it on the disc mage, so maybe that would be a great thing. For the cannon, since we are not using it that much, maybe something with chance to poison, chance to shock, anything like that. Just pick some sort of cannon that you think would go well with when using poison dart. And try to stack up for the defensive things like the chest or the legs. Try to maybe get crit chance, crit damage again, but try to get defenses or HP. HP would be nice because it would work on any frontier, except that it would kind of downscale by 3 levels when in the wrong frontier, but it's still nice. And when it comes to enchantments, pick whatever you think is good. I currently on this guy prefer going for more defenses, because it's in there where the action is up close, pulling the enemies towards himself, getting hit, so blocking and defenses are pretty cool for this guy, but also a bit of health wouldn't hurt as well. When it comes to pets, my ideal setup would be Aura Deadlier Strikes combined with Screeching Stun, and this Screeching Stun is amazing for this build if only I had it, and then Healing Friendship. For the fourth one, you can put whatever you want between those two. I would prefer Battle Cry. So those would be my four. Deadly Strikes, Battle Cry, Screeching Stun, Healing Friendship. I don't have two of the ones I want, so I'm using whatever I can. If you don't have the crit strikes, this is also nice running partner. This is also nice for extra block chance, but keep in mind the maximum block chance you can get is 40%, so probably getting that from the pet is not the best place since you can get 40 from gear easily. So hopefully that helps. When it comes to the relic weapon, use any one you think would fit well. As I said in the gear segment, just pick a relic weapon that matches your gear. If you have poison gear, the Bane. If you have bleeding gear, the Bloodrinker. If you have burning gear, the Flaming Destroyer. If you're going for a shock or chilling ice, etc. build, just try to pick whatever you might need more. It doesn't have to be any of those. This build is pretty open when it comes to combinations, and you can either go for a more proc oriented and put more points into those skills here and this one, or you can go into one where you use this as an active skill and go into more points into Venomous Maw, Spinning Blade or Sword Smash. Anything is fine, the build is flexible. When it comes to playing the build, since we're stacking up some cooldown reduction for Vent Vortex Bomb and we are not getting anything with heat dissipation, or if you're getting anything with heat dissipation, we're getting the least amount we can. The core way we play the build will be stacking up a lot of heat building via Fracking Strike and releasing it with Vent Vortex Bomb. Vent Vortex Bomb sucks the enemies closer to us and then we just unleash some more damage, and we actually can even heal ourselves if the enemies are stunned. Of course, you can start the combo with Sonic Pulse when needed, especially when there's some high HP targets like bosses or tanky champions. You can even use it for regular groups to make things a bit quicker, and then follow up with heat building and heat spending, heat building and heat spending. And of course there's always ramming robot, either for some little bit of extra damage or when you want to catch up to a target or when you just want to escape a tough spot. You can use either something like poison dart as suggested in the skill section, or you can use Shotgonne Blast. I suggest staying away from Shotgonne Blast unless you really want it, because it gives you a lot of steam heat dissipation which you don't need for the build to make sure you're building heat fast enough. If you want to do some extra stunning, maybe you can try using Servo-Driven Uppercut on your skill bar, or of course you can always add the Relic active skill such as the Spinning Blade or the Sword Smash or the Venomous Maw and use that into your rotation however you please. It's not that difficult to get this build to work, and you just have to be a bit careful because with Vent Vortex Bomb you're making sure the enemies are close to you, and with Fracking Strike you're kind of medium range, so you kind of have to make sure you have enough defense, enough block chance maybe if you're using a shield. I would strongly suggest using a shield for this. You can get damage from other sources, and using a shield, of course, as I said, doesn't give us any steam dissipation, so it's a pretty nice synergy there. Thank you for watching this video, Struck Up. If you liked it, you can let me know by hitting the corresponding button, and the same goes if you didn't like it. If you want to be notified for more Torchlight Frontiers, Borderlands 3 or other Wooter content, you can subscribe to my channel and click the bell button. And in the meantime, keep it cool, and until next time. Goodbye.